Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Encourager here with another study. I'm in the book of Daniel. I'm going through the book of Daniel. I think the last study I did, the one just before this one was I think it was chapters 5 through 6. And today I'm in chapter 7. And just a brief study to encourage you to get in the Word, get in the Bible. You know who you are. The Bible is written for and about you. But in order for you to understand, you have to read it. So I'm in chapter 7, and just a brief study. I will not be reading the entire chapter. I'll just be reading a few verses. And let's study. Daniel chapter 7. And this first portion speaks of Daniel's vision of the 4 great beasts. And just a side note, I find it good practice when reading the book of Daniel to cross-reference it with the book of Revelation. When the Lord speaks, he confirms himself. So, like this is something I do. Like if I'm on the phone and someone says something to me, I repeat it just to make sure. I find that when I'm reading the Bible, the Lord confirms what he's saying. So again, I'll say not everyone is going to understand, but if you have a mind that is willing, wanting to understand, know that Jesus Christ of Nazareth, he is the revealer, and he will open your eyes to understand. When Jesus walked on the earth, when he spoke to his disciples, he spoke to them clearly. But when he spoke to the multitude, other people, he spoke in parables. I believe there's a reason for that. So let's study together. Daniel chapter 7. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the 4 winds of the heaven strove upon the great sea. And 4 great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. The first was like a lion. I'm just going to point out here, there's some things that are figurative. And if you paid attention in English class or lit class, you'll know. Some things are figurative. Some things are literal. Okay? For example, here it says, we're talking about the four beasts. I'm in verse 4. It says the first was like a lion. It's not a lion. Bear in mind, these beasts are people. They are the characteristics. They're like a lion. And the first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth and made stand upon the feet as, and made to stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. And behold, another beast, a second like unto a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, the other beasts are saying to it, Arise, devour much flesh. After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast also had 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. After this I saw in the night vision, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of men, and a mouth speaking great things. So I read verses 1 through 8. And I think that is where I'm going to stop. Notwithstanding that, I encourage you to read the entire chapter so that you may understand. But for lack of time, and because I want these videos to be short, I'm going to stop there. So you see, Daniel had a vision, and of the 4 beasts. And I think sometimes for those that don't understand, when they read, they're thinking of a literal beast. But I believe we're somewhere along the 4th beast period. The 4 beasts, they're kings of the earth. Back in the days, they called them kings. In our present world, or present time, I should say, they're called prime ministers and presidents, those terms. But in the Bible, they're referred to as kings. I do believe that we are at the 4th beast. I believe the first 3 have gone through. And but that is my belief. I encourage you to study so that you can understand. I'm not throwing this at you to say this is what it is. This is my understanding. However, the 4th beast, I believe, will be the 4th kingdom on earth, and it will be utterly different from all the others. I think we've walked through a lot of things, or our foreparents have, I should say, and atrocities, but I don't think we've really seen terrible yet. Now the rule of this 4th kingdom, let's call it kingdom, because if they're kings, it's a kingdom. It will be terrible, and well, even though I believe, I am still wondering, if you're in the study with me, Is it possible that we are at the fourth kingdom today, 2021, or we are fastly like getting there very quickly, or we're just simply merging into it? I encourage you to pay attention, pay extra attention and study. The Bible is our instruction manual. And if you look at the events that are happening in life, you pick up your Bible and you can match it up. We must pay special attention to everything that is happening. I know a lot of people just stick their head in the sand and just hoping that things will continue as they were before. You've been on earth long enough to know that seasons come and seasons go. Time come and time goes. Different eras. We are in 2021. Things are not as it were in 1999. We are progressing, and I know that's a kind of a weird word to use right now, because when you think of progress, you think of just great things. And I'm not saying great things aren't happening, but there's a big but right there, and I'm just gonna leave it at the but. So study and pay attention. Study the scriptures just to see how world events line up. And again, I ask, are we seeing the birth of the fourth kingdom? You can comment. Are we seeing that before our very eyes? I think we should watch Babylon. You know who Babylon is. Watch Babylon carefully. Pay attention to the governing body and the, let's call it, the chess playing of seats. Because when you're playing chess, you are moving. So just watch the seats. Also watch the political state that are off the east. I would also watch the mandate that's going on versus control, and most importantly, watch the so-called church. You have to pay attention. Any and everything that is happening or has happened in the world, and more so now as we're in 2021, you perhaps think that if you'll just blink, it will go away, or if you'll just go on your merry way doing your very merry thing, nothing will affect you. Any and everything that is happening will affect you. Think of where we are as you're listening to this right now, as in period, as in time. We're in 2021, and just think of the mandate. Are you affected, or are you just ignoring? Because I guarantee you, everyone is affected. So it is good practice to study the scriptures, because it is the instruction manual, and many are refusing. They just can't be bothered. And many are going to be surprised because they're not paying attention. So just a brief study, Daniel chapter 7, and I'm just giving you what I get from it, just a bit of what I get from it, because if I were to give you everything, this video would be long. So, but I do encourage you to read and cross-reference with the book of Revelation. Study to show yourself approved. Study to see where you're at. This is the encourager encouraging you to get in the Bible. It is your instruction manual. Be blessed.